Hello and welcome to yet another Walk and Talk, as we're doing every Wednesday, I should say, from 7 o'clock. And today we have none other than Mr. Paul Konchesky. Hello, Paul. How are you?
Not bad. Yourself? All good?
Yeah, not bad. The family okay during this crisis, should we say?
Yeah, touch wood, hanging in there. Lucky enough to have a nice garden and the weather, so it's helping a little bit with the kids can get in the garden and run around.
Yeah, that's the main thing, isn't it? You know, it's a bit crazy being on a lockdown, but obviously we're here today to talk about the Europa League journey. Can you believe it was?
Lee can't wait. Lee can't wait.
Massive. I love it. I could talk about it all day. It's crazy. It's crazy. 10 years ago, we played Wolfsburg. Wow. I generally can't believe it's 10 years since that momentous season, that momentous journey that you and the lads took us on as a fan. It was just blew my mind how we achieved what we did. But obviously, we played Anchor Perm. I know we played Vectra the first game. You played in it. Obviously, going into that game as a team, how did you feel? Did you feel come what may? Bearing in mind we started in June. Come what may, did you foresee? Nice. Did you foresee us in the final, or did you just see it as a sort of a pre-season friendly, just kick the ball about and just have a laugh sort of thing?
Do you know that them games we started in June, so it was really early. And I think let's be honest, you get in the Premier League and you just survive, and that's what it was about. You know, you want to be in the Premier League, so. Them games in Europe were basically friendlies for us, ready for the season. Because if you spoke to Roy and the owner at the time, Al Fayed, he would probably tell you the same, that the league was more important to us. So let's just use these as friendlies and start the Premier League on fire. So yeah. to qualify. In the group stages, then it gets down to the real business, and then you start thinking, well, why don't we give it a go?
Yeah, obviously we got into the group stages, played CSKA Sofia first away game, but I want to drag you to one game, and every 5th of November I tweet it all the time. You and Eric Nevland getting sent off. I was in the Stadium Olimpico, and it just blew my mind. Personally, I still hate that ref. I can't stand him. What he was doing, I didn't know anything. I was just, we were so far away from the ground, from the pitch. It was miles. It was unbelievable. But to see us at the Stadium Olimpico, obviously we're all the same age, sort of, and as kids growing up, every Sunday we would watch Go Lazio. It was, and to see Fulham in this stadium, this iconic stadium, really, it kind of chokes me up a bit. And I think I'll say that for a lot of Fulham fans. I didn't think we envisioned us playing Rome in any time soon, or let alone in the Stadium Olimpico.
Even when you played at Fulham, when I was there, it's probably like a dream, like you say. You grow up watching Italian football on a Sunday afternoon, nothing else to do. So you watch that and you dream of maybe going to that. And you have been lucky as a fan and as a player to go and play there for the club.
Oh, massively. Obviously, you got sent off, so you had a few suspensions then. Let's just get to the better games. The massive game I think everybody wants to know about would be the Juventus. Let's go through the away game. Another game that I was at, it was freezing, but again, like we said, exactly the same to Football Italia. Again, watching Juventus, we went out there, come back, and I just thought to myself, we've just lost 3-1 to Juventus. I got stick from work, going out there, taking 2 days off work, and we lost. I went, mate, I've just seen my team, little old Fulham, play Juventus. My life is done. I'm happy. And I thought to myself, we're having at our ground, but obviously, as we find out, Trezeguet scored in 2 minutes, and it was an uphill struggle. But what I truly believe that night, I don't think I'd ever see a better game in all my life than I did that night. It just blew me away. Obviously, as a player, how did you feel going into that game, 3-1 down, playing Juventus, and then go back to the cottage? It's a 6 o'clock kickoff, and we go 1-0 down with Trezeguet in a couple of minutes.
Yeah, listen, you're playing Juventus, probably one of the best teams in Italy at the time. So they're playing against, like you say, Trezeguet, Del Piero. The players they had was unbelievable. But being 3-1 down and then 4-1 down early on, you just don't want it to be a high score, you know. What I remember is the first goal I set up Bobby, and then the last goal I remember is obviously Clint's magical chip that went in the far stick, and the rest is history. Really,
Still, that goal is still.
It's a bit blurry. I don't really remember. It's a bit blurry, but listen,
understandable.
That goal is still everywhere.
I think
that
I
goal
was
is
still
everywhere.
on my leg. I'm convinced. I just flew downstairs. I just downfound. So after that game, obviously, you went back in the dressing room. I left the ground and caught up with a few mates of mine, and none of us said nothing to each other the whole way to the pub. We were just absolutely blown away by what we've just seen.
I couldn't believe it. Yeah.
Obviously, going back into the dressing room, what was a buzz like? Were you? How were you as a group? Obviously, you were very close. Clearly, you were very close.
Did you really start to think? Did you really start to think that maybe something could happen here? Because I remember you obviously saying at the start of the season, you treat it as sort of a friendly game. You know, you were saying that everyone's saying, you know, the league is the most important thing.
Yeah.
You know, you need to stay in the Premier League, the money there, and all that sort of stuff. At that point, round of 16, do you think at that point something could happen here, boys? That was a magical moment.
Well, yeah, of course. You get out of the group stages and you play the teams like Juventus and you beat Juventus. You've got to be thinking, cool,
yeah,
we can go on a run here. We'll play whoever, and we'll put our body on the line, and we could probably beat anybody. And I think it proved what you just said, how close the group was at the time, and the manager included, the owner included, how close we all was to get so far in the cup.
I personally think if you look back on the paper, we weren't the best team ever, but what we did have was camaraderie, compassion. Like, we were together, and I on the walks, I kind of stressed this as well. Like I said to you earlier, Paul, a lot of people say to me, we're on the walks at 3:00 in the morning, beat up in Scotland, Mansfield, wherever, and they always say to me, oh, who do you support? I'm a Fulham fan. Oh, the Europa League journey, and it just literally, I could talk about it all day, every day, and there's so many people that take so much. No one remembers Middlesbrough getting to the final a couple of years before. Everybody always remembers Fulham, and it's just something that's always just baffled me, how so many people have remembered our journey. It was just something so special, and it brings back so many good memories. And obviously, we've got to ask a question, obviously, because there's a few Fulham shirts behind Juventus. I remember you swapping a shirt with someone. Whose shirt did you get?
Yeah, good shot.
We got Trezeguet.
Oh man, what a shirt! You can't beat that. You can't beat that. Obviously, after that, we went to Shakhtar. You didn't play in Shakhtar. Let's talk about 10 years ago today. It was Wolfsburg. We beat them 2-1 at home. Obviously, we're going over there. All us fans were so excited. I remember, again, flying over there, not sleeping, super excited, and finally getting there into the ground, beautiful ground. And Bobby does what he does within 30 seconds. Was just
21 seconds, wasn't it? I see it earlier.
Yeah, I saw. It was just, and I'm a bit superstitious, and I was standing on the pole, the railing, where the crash barrier is, and I refused to get down. I was like, if I get down, we're going to lose. I'm very superstitious like that. And the whole game I spent just, come on, I don't believe this. And then, did you as a group, I'll reiterate what Deacon said, did you as a group feel then, after that game, that this is it? We can do something really, really big. Obviously, Shakhtar were an absolutely amazing side, probably one of the best sides I've ever seen down at Fulham. Absolute phenomenal side.
I'll go back to the Juventus game. I think when you play teams like that and you can get a result, you take anyone, along the way. And I think we proved that. Like you say, you go to Shakhtar and they come to us, and we get through them. We play Wolfsburg. We go out to Wolfsburg and we get a result there. We was a great bunch of boys. Manager, whoever played, if it weren't the same 11, we had that togetherness. We all wanted everyone to do well. So whoever played at the time, and like you said, we didn't have one massive player. We had all players that worked hard, wanted to do well, and we all stuck together. and I think that's why we went so far.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. You can see that on the pitch. You know, my little boy Billy, I made him watch the season review many a times, the Juventus game many a times. He ain't got no choice. It's just like, right, Bubs, we're watching this. End the conversation. Learn your history, and he talks about it, and it's just showing the next generation what is achievable when you come together. You know, you might not be the best people, but collectively, you are the greatest.
Yeah.
Moving on to the semi-final, we went out to Hamburg, drew 0-0 out there. That was a fun trip. Never did I envision that we'd back there for the final. And it was in the square. It was crazy. And obviously, come back to our ground, and Petrov scored. Free kick. We're going at half time. I still remember their fans singing, "Football's coming." It's at the right ump. But then, another magical night down at Craven Cottage. It was just dreams made. I don't believe what I was seeing when Simon Davies put that ball. Well, Gira scored, then Davies scored. It was just I don't know what happened. I just kind of threw myself wherever. I was just in literally euphoria. Obviously, I've done a little bit of research on the games and so forth, and I've seen you, particularly Paul, every game you've played, you've always congratulated the goal scorer before anybody else. You seem to be everywhere where the goal scorer is. It's kind of like, it's quite weird. And I've thought to myself, he must be loving this. He must be like, this must be dreams are made of. And
yeah, but like I said to you then, Lee, I just think how close we all wanted to do well. So I think when someone scores or makes a goal, you congratulate them as well, because it's a massive part of it. And we, like I say, we were so close on and off the pitch. We used to do things off the pitch all together. So we had that togetherness, and I think, like you say, it proved all the way through.
Do you think Roy was a massive catalyst for that?
Yeah, massively.
Roy?
Individually, as a collectively, he was someone that you would want on your side, and the strength he had was he wanted us all to be together on and off the pitch. If we weren't training, be together, go for some food, and do this and do that. So he brought that to the club, and I think that's oh no, what's happening there?
No, you're still all right, mate.
Yeah, and that's why. I think that's why. We were so close, because if we weren't training, we was together having food or going go-karting or paintballing. So we was always together.
Bunch of Herberts, I bet. Always playing some trick, I can guarantee you. So obviously we go to the final. Well, actually, let's talk about Hamburg. Let's go back to Hamburg at home, away, because there was a volcano, wasn't there? There was that volcano problem, and you had to travel via the coach.
Yeah.
How was that? I would dread to think. Because there's a few of the Fulham lot that had to do that. We got the first flight out of Gatwick, I think it was. I think we got the first flight out of Gatwick. But you were playing, if I remember rightly, was Breda Hangeland playing football on the motorway. Am I right in saying that?
Yeah, we got stopped in the traffic or whatever. There was roasting hot, nothing to do, sitting on the coach, had to get off, and we were just playing like two touch in the road and that. So. But listen,
I love it.
That's part and parcel of it, and that's why I mean we're so close. You go that far on a bus to play in a semi-final of a game, you know. So it was a great bunch, and it like you say, it feels like yesterday. It's 10 years ago.
So going on to the final, what was the mood like within the camp? Obviously playing Atletico Madrid, who had a good, strong side. I think as a fan, it was very much, I can't believe what we're seeing. It was just dumbfounded. It was just, we're back in Hamburg for a final. Never in my life did I ever envision Fulham getting into a European final ever. I was quite happy with just kind of staying in the Premier League, you know, last minute, Danny Murphy goal down at Portsmouth. I'm quite happy with that. That's me. I'm happy with that. But this was new territory. I've never seen Fulham in a cup final. Last cup final was 1975, which obviously I wasn't born. Some would differ. Obviously, how was that for you lot as a collective group? Did you feel you could take on the challenge?
Yeah, listen, we knew it was going to be a hard task, but the teams we beat along the way, why couldn't we give it a go? And you look back now, you're so close, but so far away from getting a result there. You look back at their team now, and you.
I'm just looking. Yeah.
But at that time, you don't really. De Gea, you probably didn't know of, and people like that. You didn't.
Aguero.
You didn't really know of them, And unfortunately, Reyes obviously passed away, but we know him from Arsenal. But he was at Atletico. He got Forlan, who scores thousands of goals. So when you look back, you think their squad and their players they had, and we come so close to winning that game. It was probably a gutting because it's a dream to get in the Europa Cup final and try to win the final. But like you say, the teams we beat along the way and give them a good go to the end was probably one of the best days the clubs are ever going to have. And obviously after the final.
Hands up all day long. After the whistle went, I kind of thought to myself, wow, each and every one of you, I'm going to buy each and every one of you a pint at one point in my life just to say thank you. And, 10 years on, I still talk about it. It's me and my boy. We always talk about it. And like I said to you earlier, it comes up a lot on the walks overnight and where people are trying to talk and men are trying to talk. And obviously, this is what we're trying to achieve. But, so I believe you've got the runners-up medal with you.
I have, mate. Yeah, I've got it out today.
Oh man, that is unreal.
Yeah.
Pristine condition, of course.
Yeah, it's silver, but it's.
Mate, you're a legend. Everyone at Fulham will easily buy you a pint whenever you come down to Fulham. I guarantee you that. It's Paul Konchesky, give him a pint. You'll never go dry, mate. You'll be quids in. You'll be looked after. Don't worry. I believe Deacon wants to ask you a few questions as well now.
Yeah, obviously,
kind of fanboyed over it.
As I said, Lee was going to go absolutely fangirling on you there. So I thought I'd just leave him in his little moment. You can see him. He's like, it's Christmas morning. He's in a great mood. But obviously, as you know, Paul, we do the mental health thing. And one of my passions is obviously it's not every day I get to speak to someone like yourself, Paul. About certain situations, when it comes to the end of playing football. Obviously, you pretty much hung your boots up back in 2018. Was it East Thurrock?
Yeah.
East Thurrock United. Obviously, the progression you played for so many clubs over the time. Playing for your boyhood club West Ham as well in the early days. Was it always the thing to start? At the club that you did and then make progression through the clubs? Or would you have preferred to have been the guy that sort of played for one club and then stayed there? Or did you enjoy the journey that you went on? And you were obviously resilient enough mentally and physically to be able to, because it's not, some people get homesick and stuff like that. Was it something that went through mentally? Was it tough?
Listen, every little boy's dream is to be a footballer, which I was lucky enough to go and do. So, when you start out at 16 years old, I just wanted to be a footballer. I wanted to play football. So I started at Charlton. And listen, you don't know your journey. As a kid, you don't know your journey. So I was just happy to play professional football. And I was lucky enough to play from such a young age till I finished. But the journey I went on was, for the first few years, I was in London really a lot. I went to Charlton, West Ham, Fulham. I went to Tottenham on loan. So I had 4 or 5 London clubs, which for me was perfect because I'm a London boy and
sure.
And I never ever thought about going anywhere else. I ended up going obviously to Liverpool, which at the time was
that was straight after Fulham.
Yeah. At the time, it was I had a little girl. She was 12 months older than my wife, so there was 3 of us. So it was quite hard to move my family up as well as myself. So at the time, I had to do it because it wasn't down the road. So we all moved up, and it plays a big part, because sure. I go out to work and have 30 new friends every day. My wife comes up and has nobody. So that part of the life is obviously quite hard for family.
No, I can appreciate that. It's an amazing journey, and as you said, you know, Premier League, you've played for a lot of, and played at the high end for such a long time as well. It's obviously testament to your ability and everything like that. After Liverpool, you went to Nottingham Forest on loan, Leicester City as well. Took the step to the Championship and then made it back with Leicester City back into the Premier League. That must have been an interesting experience. Getting promotion. How was that?
Yeah, obviously, I obviously left Liverpool for obvious reasons, but I had to step down to come back up, which I had no qualms about doing. I went to a great side in Leicester with fantastic owners, and their ambition was to go get straight up, and they wanted to win the Premier League, which for lucky them for Leicester that they've done it. But listen, I wanted to play football, so if I had to step down, I stepped down, and we had a great side there and got promoted. So it was another great experience for me to get promoted from the Championship into the Premier League and spend another 3 or 4 good years there with Leicester.
Fantastic.
I've got a quick question. Obviously, being a West Ham supporter growing up, your first England game was at Upton Park. How was that? Wow, that must have been what a stroke of luck. Let's be fair. Come on.
And the way it happened, yeah, of course. Obviously, West Ham fan, playing at Upton Park, playing for my country is a massive dream come true. You know, you dream about playing for your country, but you never think it's going to happen as a kid. I was lucky enough to do it at the club that I supported it as in West Ham, at Upton Park. So. I bet. Was that one of your favourite football memories? That's got to be up as one of the best, if not the best. I'll say to loads of people, I've got 3 or 4 good memories in me. I've got obviously making my England debut, the 2 cup finals, the FA Cup final, Europa League Cup final, and obviously promotion with Leicester as well.
Now you scored in that FA Cup final as well for West Ham. We got to ask. Was it a cross or was it actually a shot? Come on, man. It's been bugging me for years.
I'll let you off. It was a cross, but we're more looking at it.
We're ready it.
Ain't one of my bangers, but listen, they all can, don't they? So
you scored a banger for Fulham against West Ham.
I did. But I was lucky enough to play.
Screamer.
I was lucky enough to play in 2 cup finals, so gutted I didn't win any of them. But listen, some of the best don't play in a cup final, so I played.
That's very true. That's very true. And obviously, you made your second England appearance in Switzerland, where England played Argentina. What a game that was!
Unbelievable, you know. Obviously, Michael Owen scored a hat-trick, so it was even better to play in a game for your national team and win against one of the world's best as well in Argentina.
Yeah, what a game it was. It was 2-1 down with about 5 minutes to go, weren't we? Yeah, and Michael Owen done what Michael Owen done, and unbelievable. What's I've got a question from my boy, actually. He wants to ask, what's the best player you've ever played with?
Every day to day, probably when I was at Liverpool, Gerrard. I'd have to say Gerrard. Oh. But listen, I've played with so many. I've like Tevez at West Ham and Mascherano at West Ham. Yeah. Dempsey, Bobby, Simon Davis, just good players, you know. And you play with them every day. Damien Duff, I play with some good players, and I've loved my career, and I've done what I've had to do.
No, perfect. What are you doing with yourself now, Paul? Obviously, with football, you're not playing football. You're looking to get into management. Are you looking to do anything within football?
So I'm like a loans manager at West Ham. So the players who go out on loan, Josh Cullen, Ian Garner, people like that, I look after them on a daily basis because I speak to them all the time. But I go to visit them, go to watch their games, and make sure they're okay in them environments. Really.
Oh, that's really good. I suppose a lot of ex-players are getting back into well, retired players getting into football again, obviously with helping players, and I think that's very good. I've called for that for a long time. Actually, I think that is superb.
Yeah,
It does help other people.
Give something back to a younger one that maybe I didn't get the experience from when I was growing up. You know, because it wasn't like that then. And if I can give something a little bit back to someone, and they go on and do something, then you can take the plaudits as well.
No,
I'm sure that's
massively.
I'm sure that's obviously helping with hanging up your boots, obviously. Mentally, apart from that, what else are you doing to fill your time? You know, it's football for such a long time was everything, obviously. You know, as a football fan, you know, football is to some people a religion or a way of life. You know, if Arsenal have a bad result one week, I'll be upset for a week. You know, so it's quite, you know, as much as this, you know, the situation that's going on around the world is quite bad. I'm enjoying the break of not being sometimes upset weekly. So I'm enjoying the break, you know, in that sense, trying to get the positives out of every negative situation. So, but yeah, was it difficult the moment when you realised, you know, I think it's time for me to just sort of take a step back? Was it it must have been a difficult decision, but you know, was there any inkling in your mind that you maybe one more season or one more month, or is this the right time to do this? And what am I going to do with my time? Pick up golf, like a lot of footballers like to do.
No, at the time, I knew I was done. I was ready to stop. Did I want to? Not really. I miss it more now than I did when I first stopped.
Wow.
So I've had a little rest, and I've got 3 children. My little boy into football, so I'm here, there, and everywhere. My boy and my dog get horse rides. But I miss everyday training, so I miss the banter every day.
Oh wow, okay.
I miss the banter every day more than probably match days. But if you could say to me now, you could go and train every day, I'd go.
Wow.
I've started to miss it now more than I did when I first stopped, if I'm honest.
Wow, that's okay. I never thought of that being like a thing or whatever. So why do you think that is? Is it because you're having more time to think about the fact that you're not playing now, or is it because it was in the heat of the moment? Everything was still fresh. Is it now because it's sort of settling in and you're more thinking about it every day?
I think when you do it for so long, 20 odd years, when that point comes, I think you're happy to have a rest. You get a little, I don't know, because I've got a family, so you can go and do this, and you can do that, and you can do this. I've been skiing a few times.
You can have a real Christmas.
Yeah.
So I've been skiing a few times that when you play, you're never allowed to do it. So I've done things now that I've never ever done when I was playing, but now I'm getting to the point that I started to miss it again. So I've had a nice break. I've had 2 years out to do everything I wanted to do. And
2 years.
Now I'm not itchy feet, but if you said to me, go and train every day here and have a bit of banter for 2 hours a day, then I'd love to go and do that again.
You got to come on a walk. You have to come on a walk and talk, mate.
Yeah, there you go.
And overnight, you'll laugh your head off and you'll make good friends, really. And this is another one.
I don't like walking.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll get you to do a 40-mile walk soon. Don't worry about that, mate. We'll
warm you up to it.
This is one of our walkers here. It's a little. I don't know if you can see the message here, but it's a quite poignant one that Sean asks. You know, does Paul have any advice for kids trying to break into the game at all levels? How do you mentally prepare yourself for the pressures and challenges of football? There comes a lot of pressure and a lot of challenges ahead of you. Is there any advice? Obviously, what you're doing now with the loaned out players at West Ham is quite amicable, and I can imagine you see a different side of football, seeing them go through their stuff. Is there any advice you would like to give anybody trying to break into football, young kids, mentally, physically?
I think they need to train every day, or when they train properly all the time. But then most of all, they need to enjoy playing football. Once you stop enjoying it, there's no point, because it's like slogging a dead horse. There's no point. Yeah. You just need to enjoy it, play with a smile, and the rest comes, you know. And if people are watching, and you're giving it 100%, they'll keep coming back to watch you. But
no, I agree.
the one time someone's there and you don't try, it's finished. There's no point. So for me, I think they need to try hard all the time, train and play properly all the time, but play with a smile and play happy, because there's no point of playing football otherwise.
No, I totally agree with that. I as a football player back in when I was 15, exactly the same. That's the advice we always got told: play with a smile, enjoy it, play to referee's whistle, and just enjoy yourself. Don't ever stress yourself out. If you lose, you lose. It's not the end of the world.
As long as you're trying your hardest and you're playing with a smile and happy, listen, you never know what's around the corner. You don't know who's watching you at any one time.
So speaking of around the corner, then let's go back, Paul. Senrab, Wanstead Flats. There we go. So what the moment when someone, I don't know, figuratively speaking, tapped you on the shoulder to have a little chat with you about making a step up, what was going on? Obviously, because it's, you know, as a young boy, having that all of a sudden your life changing, your family's life changing, and everything changing completely. What was that like, and how were you able to deal with it mentally, with such a huge life change?
As in now?
Well, when you were a young man, because obviously, when you're a kid, you think you're invincible and stuff like that. Do you think you handled it the right way? Well, obviously, you can't make any changes, but when you're a young man going through having something happen so quickly and so fast or whatever, how were you able to cope with it, with the changes?
For me, I was lucky. I've got good family around me.
Fantastic.
Got good support. And if it weren't my family, it was my wife. When I was at Charlton, I had a good academy manager.
Brilliant.
I could always go and speak to. I've been quite lucky. So obviously Roy, really lucky. I could go and speak to Roy. Nigel Pearson, I was really lucky. Could go and speak to Nigel. So I've been. It's probably more now, but I was quite lucky that I had good people to go and speak to if I ever needed it.
That's very important, isn't it? You know, we see your feed. You talk a lot. You're very much a family man. You talk about your family a hell of a lot, which is nice, and obviously nice to see. I think Deacon's got a question for you regarding a business. A
certain restaurant in a certain place in Pie and Mash region. If that's
you're from the East End, aren't you?
That's it. So yeah. We were gonna slyly drop it in towards the end of us possibly, when this all blows over, of us possibly popping down and grabbing some pie and mash and liquor and having a little chinwag and having a laugh and just
anytime, mate. Anytime.
Fantastic.
Anytime.
No, can't go wrong with that.
Paul, it's been amazing. It's been absolutely wonderful talking to you. We'll probably get you on later on in a couple of months and so forth, and have another chat if you like.
No problem, mate.
It does mean a lot. Thank you on behalf of us lot for taking the time out and what is a very stressful time at the moment for everybody. Hope you and your family are very well and keep safe. Anything anybody can do, we're here to help.
You too, guys.
Thank you so much.
No, definitely. Just give us a message, mate, and love to do it again.
Top man, means a lot, Paul. Thank you so much. Love to the family.
And you. Cheers,
you,
guys.
Cheers,
Bye, mate. Bye.
So that concludes what is Walk and Talk. Thank you. Walk and Talk? No, Sit and Talk. We're on Sit and Talk now, aren't we?
Sit and Talk. We've changed it to Sit and Talk. We've changed it to Sit and Talk. I thought Talk and Talk was great, but Sit and Talk.
That's amazing.
It's about the obviously walk and talk, and then you've got the sit and talk. It just makes sense. And we are sitting, so technically we are correct with it.
What a wonderful man, Paul Konchesky.
He's just so warming, dude. It's just so warming. I felt, just a
my heart's
regular old
racing.
guy, just having a chat with him and stuff. I love the look on your face, man. I just let you just run with it. It was beautiful. It was beautiful. It was like love at first sight. It was, it was beautiful.
It was
stunning.
He's a good guy. So hopefully we get him back on again. But we will be back again next Wednesday at 7:00.
Yep.
We're going to do this on a regular now.
That's
we're
it.
going to have a few more guests. So if you can subscribe, please like, please share, please get involved. You know, we have got this thing that you can text us, tweet us. What do you want to say? What do you want to call it?
Text. I like it. Text us. Give out your personal number. That's
Everybody's got.
Get out of there. Everyone's got it already. I don't know what you're talking about. Everyone's got your number already. But no. Make sure
in the toilets again.
Yes, I've been scribbling. That's why I'm always running around with a permanent marker. If you haven't already, guys, obviously just like the video just down below. It really helps us. And if you haven't already, obviously, if you're brand new to the channel and you've just kind of found us, or if you're part of my community or part of Lee's community personally, make sure to subscribe to the channel and obviously follow Lee on Twitter as well.
Walk and Talk MMH. Once this is done, I'm going to make it I'm determined to get Paul Konchesky out on the walk, and I think we'll do it. A great guy. I can't thank him enough.
The way he was like, I don't do walking. he'll do that. He likes a
wheelchair. We'll get
him a wheelchair. We'll just wheel him around. It's fine. It's VIP wheelchair. Well, that's what we can call it. We can call it the VIP wheelchair. Just wheeling people around.
Everybody just buying them a pint constantly.
That's the thing. People will do that. That's exactly right. But I'm very much looking forward to, hopefully, if we can get it sorted, to heading down to Paul Konchesky's pie and mash shop, because I do love a bit of pie and mash and liquor. That is,
I think we're definitely 100%.
So that'd be freaking awesome. So very much looking forward to that. And obviously, we'll either do a video of it and take pictures and everything like that. So we'll keep you documented if we do and when we do.
Oh, I didn't
make sure we keep you in the loop.
I know. We said last week we're going to wear shirts and everything.
Yes.
He's worried. I haven't.
I'm wearing. Yes. So I
have got 3 behind me.
Yes, you do.
From the Europa League.
I got Real Oviedo shirt. A couple of players that played for Real Oviedo when they were kids. Juan Mata and Santi Cazorla, who I met when I went to Oviedo. I just saw him randomly in a tiny little restaurant. I walked past and went, I think I was Santi Cazorla in a restaurant. And it was just after the surgery. It was like the last 6 months of his contract at Arsenal. He just had the surgery on that life. Like he had a skin eating disease on his leg, and he had to have like a graft from his arm and stuff like that. It was so he had a tattoo of his daughter's name on his arm. So he got it that bit taken off and then put onto his ankle. So he's got his daughter's tattoo from his arm onto his ankle now. But
that's an interesting fact. Saying I never knew.
Yeah, there you go.
Something every day, don't you, Deacon?
There you go. He's a lovely guy. He is just as short as you could imagine. He is just as short. But obviously, what was it? Last year, he was getting into the Spanish national team again.
It's been an absolute wonderful chat. As always, Deacon, it's always a pleasure to see you. I can't wait to meet up with you again and give you a beer.
When it's all blows over, we'll be fine. We'll be fine.
I genuinely hope that we've brought some light into people's lives. You know, it's a challenging time, and obviously we got this, like I said, this text, this bar thing here that we can put onto the screen, and we'll answer your questions and get involved, get talking. Let's open up the conversation. Let's not shy away from what's happening. Just because we're not walking and talking, we can sit and talk.
Sean, wheelchair is good. Ed can push.
I'm up for that.
We'll have to try and convince. I'm used to it. Yeah. We can try and convince Paul and get you in the wheelchair, and Ed can ferry you around. That's how we'll do it. That's how we'll sell it. We'll sell it like that. That's how we'll do it.
Definitely.
But it's make sure to stay safe, everybody. You know, make sure you're washing your hands and self quarantine as much as you possibly can. As much as the weather is nice, I know we're talking about the weather and how lovely it is. Let's try and savor it. And the moment when the doors open again, figuratively speaking, just rush to the nearest beer garden and down as many ciders as humanly possible. But until then, let's just try and stay inside. Don't risk unnecessary interactions and everything like that. But thank you so much for everyone that actually jumped in and said hi. Thanks for all of the interactions. We really do appreciate it. We didn't want to take up too much of Paul's time. I think it's considering he just dropped the dime. He was just like, yeah, boys, no worries. We'll 100% get him on again. We'll go and see him at the Pie and Mash shop. No problems there. Probably at the Pie Mash Shop, what we can do is we can just collate, or in the next time we speak to him, we'll just collate a load of questions. Now we've kind of got the opener out about the Fulham experience, the Europa League experience, and we've asked him sort of general questions about his mental health, because he seems to be he seems to be such a clued up, with his head on a swivel guy. He seems to really know exactly what he wants, where he wants it, and everything like that.
I totally like the fact that he does look after. I think that is such a big thing. Let's be fair. These players that are out on loan will know of Paul Konchesky. They will know what he's done, who he's played for, where he's played, and they have respect for that. It's not like me or you doing this job, So he can put them into such a like Paul said, push them in the right direction and give them the right advice. And I think that's just absolutely unreal. Fair play to West Ham for doing that. Fair play for Paul for doing that. I think that is absolutely phenomenal thing to do. And obviously, we're in a day and age where players get dropped constantly, and the youngsters don't generally make it into what would be the first team. Mental health kicks in, and they just go on a slide. And you've got people like Paul that will gladly be there for you. He's, like he said, he speaks to them every day. So I think that is nothing but absolute magical. I love that. I do love that. I think that's made my night. Right. Granted, I spoke to Paul about the Europa League, but I think that on a level, it just really, really secured things with me. I like that. I think that's a really nice touch, and more clubs should do that if they. It
says a lot about his character more than anything.
Oh yeah, massively.
I found it very interesting though. He said, after the couple of years, he's missing from football more now than he did the moment he gave it up. I found that very, very interesting. That he's as he said, he wouldn't say his feet are getting itchy, but he's definitely thinking about it more. And it's when he said, obviously, if he had the opportunity just to go training every day and having banter, it just reminds you of school days, the good positive times. But you don't get to hear professional football players that played for England speak so candidly about their experiences and being very open. With total strangers. I know Lee obviously spoken to you a few times. I'm a stranger. There's loads of people that he's just basically wearing his heart on his sleeve and just being very open about very intimate details of his life. And I think that's once again one of those things that we take for granted, that, we might have some of our lives on Facebook or Twitter, depending on what you like to show. But when somebody's in that particular position, sometimes the media like to grab hold of things and share things that maybe they don't want to show. And you have to be so confident and so mentally strong to be able to handle everyday life experiences that all of a sudden life could just throw you a curveball. As I said, he went to a lot of clubs throughout his time, and for me, moving from club to club, and not even from club to club, but from area to area in different areas or locations. Obviously, making his way from Fulham to Liverpool when he had a 12-month-old girl just been born, must have been really, really difficult. And he obviously speaking about his wife as well. He's just making mates in the changing rooms, but they have to sort of pick up their lives and move to another area and kind of start again. And you're alone.
Yeah,
you're alone, which is very real.
You don't think of this, do you?
No,
you don't think of this when,
and that's what annoys me.
As an Arsenal fan, such and such signs for Arsenal. You don't think that he's just uprooted his life from Brazil, a totally different climate. Let's be fair.
And Martinelli, exactly. Martinelli, it's exactly the same premise. He's 18 years old. He's just made a move over here. He's taken Arsenal by storm and the Premier League by storm. But you forget about the fact that he's just picked up his life and moved to another continent. Not even to another area, just an entirely new part of the world. But people take that for granted. I really do think, obviously, you see footballers as heroes and everything like that, but you've got to realise that they are real people. If you bring it back to basics, they're real people with real thoughts and feelings and emotions. And just because they've got a bit of money maybe, or they've got a bit of reputation or whatever, they are still real people. And I get really annoyed when I see people atting footballers on Twitter and just saying something negative and abusive. They are real people. They do get affected by stuff like this. Just think twice about what you do and what you say to footballers. 100%.
To me, obviously, you see football players on the pitch. You see them play. You're cheering them on. You pay your money at the gate, or you get your ticket, your seats, or whatever way you do it. You go through the gate, and that person is on that pitch is kind of not accepted. Like, not non-approachable, not nothing, or after the game you get their autograph or something like that. You don't really have much interaction with that person.
No.
But the players that I know that play for Fulham and so forth, all of them are just so down to earth. It is just shocking. Like, one of my favourite players growing up was Barry Hales, and him, talking to him on the phone, I was talking to him the other day regarding this virus, seeing if he's okay, and it was just, all right, mate, how are you? Yeah, Dad. And it just blew me away. Like, I used to watch you play for Fulham. You're Jamaican international, and I think we have to start looking at, seriously, talking to football players in the right way. If someone's had a crap game, I think they will hold their hands up and go, look, I had a crap game. That's not the end of the world. Okay? It's not the end of the world. I'll come back better next time. Not everybody's perfect. We get things wrong sometimes. We get everything. You can't be regimental so everything's right. And I think you've got to start leaving people with, what's the word I'm looking for? Forgiveness? No, not forgiveness. Just be nice to people. You know, this hashtag
empathy. Just a bit of empathy.
Yeah, that's the word. You know,
empathy. It's just like need a little bit of empathy. You know,
be kind. The hashtag
you are
be kind.
Upset, but they are also not too happy with the situation. I can assure you. Speak and you hear it when you speak to them, or you hear them speak. As I said, you know, being able to be blessed to be able to talk to somebody like Paul Konchesky, you can hear it in his voice. You can hear it in his voice.
His face. You see his face when we're talking about Europa League. It's just
the absolute passion. The fact that he's got the medal, he's brought it out. It's 10 years old, that medal. It looks like it was made yesterday. It looks bright. Like it's you know he's taking care of this stuff. You know it means the world to him. And you know, you even heard it himself. He wants to give back as much as he got, because he had an amazing time playing for 20 years, playing professional football. We dream about having this experience. And he was lucky enough to, and obviously very skillful enough to be able to do what he did. But at the end of the day,
he did it for.
Exactly. But at the end of the day, you've got to remember, he's still just a guy from Barking who got to play for his boy club West Ham. You know, in an FA Cup final, Europa League final for Fulham. You know, travelled around Britain. You know, made his way down the leagues, helped out people countless times, I'm sure, and is doing now after hanging up his boots for a couple of years, and is just itching to just want to still kick a ball about. He's just a guy, just like the rest of us.
I think on that note, I think that sums it all up. I think, like we said, on behalf of us too, thank you for watching. Thank you, Paul Konchesky, for talking to us.
100%.
Till next Wednesday, 7 o'clock.
Yep.
We're back on, aren't we?
Yeah,
next week.
We're on it.
Back on. So in the meantime, like Deacon said, wash your hands, keep safe, everybody. Look after each other. If you can help anybody in your area, local area, please do. You know,
even just a chat. Just a chat.
Just be kind, man.
Let's
help people. Let's
do
something positive.
That's it.
Till next time, people. Keep smiling,
guys. Thank you for
keep
tuning
sitting
in,
and talking.
That's it.